Today we will look at the ice maker information that is available in the Argus app. So first we'll take a look at indoor ice maker. As you can see the tab at the top, I have selected indoor ice and water. And when you open that, the table at the top of the screen, the top half, that's going to give you your freezer temperatures, your water amounts, your ice maker temperature, so the actual temperature right there where the ice maker's at in the door, and other information. Now down at the bottom you'll have your graph, and I want to explain what this means, these yellow dots and these pink lines. This is an ice maker that is working properly. So anytime you see a yellow dot, that means that the ice maker is cycling, it's in ice making mode. Whenever you see a pink bar that is raised to the number 1 position, that means that the ice bucket is full. If you see a pink bar that is only raised halfway or 3/4 of the way, that means that the ice bucket is not completely filled yet. So, for example, if I click on the screen here, and you look up and it'll tell you that the ice maker status is full of ice 100%. If I click over to the right, it tells you that it's full of ice 75%. So that's what those pink lines are telling you. If you click in where the yellow dots are, if you can get it to land on one of the yellow dots, it'll actually give you some, let me blow it up a little bigger. So you can see when I clicked on the yellow dot, it gives me some water information, like how many grams. I wouldn't be too worried about the actual amount of grams of water and things like that, but that just lets you know that it is filling and cycling. Another thing I want you to notice is wherever you click out on the chart, you see the box pops up and it gives us some information. So right there, water supply, or if there had been any water supply issues, that would be a number 1. There would also be a blue bar on the graph. Power is number 1. So 1 means that it is powered on. If it were 0, the ice maker would be powered off. Ice maker status, that's how full the bin is. And since it's in ice making mode right there, it's not giving us a status at this time. And then ice maker defect error, IT. So if there was an IT error code, that would be number 1. You would see a green bar on the graph if it was given an ice maker error code. You can also go back and forth for the 90-day duration, like it's showing 30 days at a time when the graph first loaded. But to go back to the previous 30 days, you do have to go back to the cooling cap tab. You have to hit previous 30 days and let that data load, then go back into the indoor ice tab. So this is the 30 days prior to what we were looking at earlier. But again, you can see that, again, the yellow dots means that it's making ice, the pink bars means that the bucket's full. So this one is making and filling, and the customer's using like normal. So this is a properly working ice maker, and these are the parameters that you can see within the Argus system. Next, we'll look at some problems, or units that have problems, and how that displays on the graph. So first I'll show you how the error codes display on the ice maker graph. So if you look here, this one has an IT error code. Let me make this a little bigger. So this area to the left, where it has this raised dark green area, see how when I click it, it says IT1. That means that there was an IT error code, which is an indoor ice maker error. After that, if you click beside it, the customer actually powered the unit off. And then if we click back over where they turned it back on, it actually started making ice again. You've got your yellow dots, you've got your pink raised bar, so it's filling the bucket. And then again, we get an IT error code. And after that, there's no more action from the ice maker. So most likely that motor on that ice maker went bad, and that ice maker will need to be replaced. The other thing that you can do for error codes is if you go back to your cooling cap tab and you look at your cooling chart, there it specifically says IT error code in the same places that we saw it on the ice maker graph. So you can see it in both tabs. So that's how IT error code will display for ice maker. More useful information that the Argus system can provide related to ice maker is whether the unit's having any issues filling with water. So you see on the left side of our graph, we have these raised blue bars. If I click in there, that tells me that there was a water supply error, because water supply error is now showing 1. That should be 0 at all times. If you look up at the table, we have a red indicator telling us that a GF code occurred. GF is a water flow error code. So this customer either had an issue with the water being supplied to the unit, or they had an issue with a clogged water filter, but you can see that right here they resolved their problem somewhere around 4:16, and then the ice maker went back to making ice again regularly. So you can check it for water flow problems. Again, if you go back to the cooling cap, it will also show up on this screen, and you see it specifically says GF or flow sensor error. So again, these are the parameters that you can check under the indoor ice and water tab. Hope this helps you guys out. Now we'll look at the information that the Argus system can supply for craft ice maker. It doesn't give quite as much detail as the indoor ice maker. So as you can see on the screen right now, you just have a solid red line. And if I click on the screen, it tells me if I have a water supply error, it tells me if my power is on, or if there has been an IU error code. If there had been an IU error code, you would see green lines on the screen or on the graph. If the power was off, there would not be a red bar, and beside power, it would say 0. The table at the top, that gives you your freezer temperature, lets you know if the power's on for wherever you've selected on the chart. And if there was an error code, it would show up there also. So not as much information again as the indoor ice maker, but this is an example of a craft ice maker that's working properly because we don't have any other errors on the screen. So next we'll show you some examples of units that do have craft ice maker errors. Here we see an example of an IU error code, or a freezer ice maker error code. So I'll zoom in where you can see better. Where this green line raised, if we select there, if you look at your table at the top, you'll see it said that IU error has occurred. And down on the little box that pops up on the chart, it says IU is now number 1. So there was a ice maker motor error that occurred there. And then shortly after that, if you notice, your red line drops down, and that's where the customer powered the ice maker off. So look at your power is now at 0. So in that time frame there where it was powered off, the ice maker was likely replaced. And then right here around 5:1, we see that the ice maker was powered back on, and it's been working okay since because there's no more errors. So that's how an IU error code will display. Another thing that you'll see as you're looking at the craft ice maker data, sometimes the graph will look like this, where it does have the vertical pinkish colored lines, like we saw with the indoor ice and water tab. That is when the unit has a standard freezer ice maker, or it may be a unit that has a craft ice maker with a Minikube ice maker. Craft ice makers by themselves will not have those vertical lines. It's only when you have another type ice maker in the unit. That's just letting you know, just like on the indoor ice maker, that it is cycling and that it is filling the bucket with ice. So don't let that confuse you. So these are the parameters that you can see under the craft ice maker tab. And remember, it's mainly for IU error code, your power status, and water supply errors. And just like on the indoor, if there were water supply errors, it would show the blue lines on the graph. So hope this helped you guys read this craft ice maker data in Argus.